and that is McGreevy's duty. And I want to make a quick introduction. We're pleased to have spending some time with us here a very well-known, high-profile divorce and family law attorney. Susan Chana Lask is joining us. Susan knows her way around these courtrooms. And Susan, we need you to help guide us around these courtrooms today. We're pleased that Susan is well. And a faith-based service. Now, if you're his lawyer, what are you going to say to this judge as to why he should be allowed to do that, and why whatever he's going to make in that capacity should be the standard here that the court uses in deciding what his financial responsibility should be?
Are you talking about the money that he's going to make on his that he's going to make from becoming a priest on
Yeah, I mean, he has said, as Gene said, he doesn't anticipate making a lot of money. Gene said how much he's making right now. If he's a priest, he said he might be in the financial band of maybe $60,000 a year or so. What's the argument that you would make to the judge saying he should be allowed to go ahead and do that rather than to have to go out and join some law firm someplace and make more money?
I don't think he has to join a law firm and make more money. Everybody has a right to do whatever they want to do with their lives. And if he wants to go out and become a priest or do some good for the public, more power to him, and that money should go to him. And he should use it as he wants. It doesn't have to necessarily go to the divorce. Nobody should be forced to be an attorney. We have more than enough already, as you know. And
that's probably the most compelling argument that we could make. That
yeah,
and I think there are plenty of attorneys out there, right?
There's plenty of attorneys, but most compelling is actually he has a right to be whatever he wants to be and do whatever he wants to do next. No one can absolutely force him into being an attorney or doing any kind of anything political or make any amount of money more than he's able to make just because he's in a divorce right now.
So you know what? He's going to have to put those all on the shelf for a while and go out and get some kind of a job someplace where he's going to make more money so that he can support this family. What do you say in response to that argument?
In response to that argument, going back to what's going on, I do have to point out something. I read in the papers he owes his former attorneys $116,000. They're both spending a lot of money on legal fees right now. Their legal fees seem to be more than what they're claiming they both even make.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So with all of that said and done, these people need to mediate and stop wasting their time in these courts with tons of money going to attorneys that they are going to owe more than they could actually use to spend on each other. I think a judge needs to get control of this and tell these people, knock heads together and say, stop this litigation and start taking this money and putting it towards you and your child. We've got a child here as well. Best interests of the child are involved.
Yeah, and does a judge have the power, given the law in the state of New Jersey and other states also, does a judge have the power to say to somebody like Jim McGreevy, again, I understand what you want to do with your life, and that's wonderful, but you're going to have to put it on hold, and you're going to have to go out and find a different job. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do, but you have the capacity, given your educational background and your intelligence, to make more than the $60,000 you're projecting you would make if you indeed become an Episcopalian priest. Does a judge have the power to do that?
She can push it. Can she order them? They do it sometimes. His earning capacity, if we're talking about he only wants to bring in 60 grand when he could really bring in 100 grand or more, she can push him to look for a job to make more money because he does have to take care of that child. He does. It's not so much alimony for Dina McGreevy as much as it is taking care of this child. 60 grand isn't going to cut it. Will she order it? We'll only see when this trial is over, basically.
Let me ask Susan Chana Lask to weigh in on an area of this case here. Susan, we have heard not oftentimes, but certainly it has occurred in terms of annulment proceedings, that one spouse in a marriage would say, look, I was fraudulently induced to enter this. Either the spouse knew that they never wanted to have children and I did, or the spouse was gay and didn't tell me that, and I married him or her anyway. But have you ever seen this type of claim for fraud where it's not part of an annulment proceeding? In other words, not part of a proceeding to just make the marriage go away as if it never happened, but it's actually part of a claim that you defrauded me into marrying you, and now I want financial damages from you. Have you ever seen that before?
No, not really. But in this case, it can happen. When you have a marriage in New Jersey, it comes from a case called Teppins. And what happens is you have a divorce that's handled in the family court, which is a court of equity, and you don't have a jury deciding the divorce, you have the judge. There are no damages. When you have civil claims, you can add them into your divorce complaint, and what the court will do is segregate it. So you will have the divorce court determine the divorce and the alimony issues. That's all within the realm of divorce court, and then later take, as you said, the third step of the claim, separate it and bring it. She has a right to a jury trial for her civil damages that she's asking on the fraud and the libel. If she could prove it to a jury, she has a right to the jury to decide in her favor or not.
Yeah,
And that's how it works in Jersey with divorces. But rarely do people bring these claims. They're usually domestic violence claims that are added in, or some kind of physical injury.